A resolution in MUN is a document which clearly outlines the main issues related to the topic and then gives a list of possible solutions to solve those issues. The whole point of the conference is debating and researching the issues and is to come up with a way to fix them.
The ultimate purpose of a committee session is to pass a resolution. All the speeches, debate, and negotiation and teamwork are supposed to lead up to a resolution which contains all the proposed solutions to the issue. The resolutions that the majority of the committee agrees upon during the voting will be passed. Multiple resolutions can pass as long as they do not contradict each other.
A resolution has three main components: a heading, pre-ambulatory clauses, and operative clauses.
The headings contain 4 pieces of information, which include the committee's name, the topic's name, the sponsors, and the signatories.
Sponsors are the delegates who wrote the resolution paper. Most resolutions have multiple sponsors because it takes a group of countries to share good ideas and to come to a consensus. And this is the purpose of unmoderated caucus. Sponsors will present their resolution to the rest of the committee.
Signatories are delegates who did not write the resolution and do not necessarily agree with it, but would like to see the resolution presented and debated.
Any delegate in the committee can write a resolution. However, in order for a resolution to be brought to the floor and discussed by the committee, it must have 20% of the committee as either sponsors or signatories.
The pre-ambulatory clauses state all of the issues about the topic that the committee has discussed previously throughout the conference and why they want to resolve it. It may state some reasons of why the committee is working on the issue and highlight previous international actions taken regarding the issue.
Most pre-ambulatory clauses are based on some of these 4 things. 1. Past efforts in resolving the topic. For example, UN resolutions, international treaties, conventions, or international and regional efforts.
Secondly, reference to international laws and regulations.
And thirdly, statements made by the United Nations or relevant agency.
Fourth is the general background information or facts about the topic and the significance and impact that it has.
Information mentioned in the second paragraph of your position paper is likely to come in handy.
It's very simple to write a pre-ambulatory clause. First, take a statement that you want to write about perhaps the issue that you want to solve or a specific fact, just like I previously mentioned, and you then take a statement and combine it with an underlined pre-ambulatory phrase, and end the statement with a comma.
Here are some pre-ambulatory phrases that you can choose from. Choose one that suits the statement you are making. You may want to pause the video to look at them.
For example, a country wants to address the issue of how Ebola spread rapidly in the sub-Saharan Africa. They would pick a pre-ambulatory phrase, let's use alarmed by, and then combine it to say, alarmed by the 17% increase in Ebola contraction among sub-Saharan African countries in the past year, comma.
I'd advise you to write fewer pre-ambulatory clauses than operative clauses. More operative clauses convey that you have more solutions than you have problems.
Here's an example of a pre-ambulatory clause. As you can see, all pre-ambulatory phrases are underlined and the pre-ambulatory clauses are not numbered, and each clause ends with a comma.
On the other hand, operative clauses take solutions to resolve the issue. They often propose a new measure or an extension of an existing measure.
Operative clauses should typically address the issues outlined in the pre-ambulatory clauses and in the order that they are mentioned. You might want to use some of the solutions that the members of your bloc have proposed in the 3rd paragraph of their position papers.
To write an operative clause, first take a solution that you want to include in the resolution. Then you take that solution and combine it with an underlined operative phrase and end it with a semicolon. The last operative clause ends with a period. Operative clauses are also numbered, which differentiates them from pre-ambulatory clauses. This also shows logical progression in the resolution and makes the operative clauses easier to refer to when discussing them.
Here are examples of the operative phrases you may want to use. Choose one that suits the solution that you are proposing. You may want to pause the video.
As an example, you might want to address the issue of Ebola by distributing low-cost medicine. So let's use the operative clause, calls upon, and then combine it and number it to say, 1, calls upon the developed countries and major pharmaceutical countries to develop low-cost generic medicines for Ebola to sub-Saharan African countries and end it with a semicolon.
I would advise you to include more details in an operative clause, as this will make it stronger, or at least make the idea more clear to other delegates. A simple way to strengthen each operative clause is to answer the question who, what, where, when, why, and how of each resolution. These details can actually be broken down into sub-operative clauses underneath the main operative clause.
Here's an example of operative clauses. As you can see, all operative clauses are underlined. The operative clauses are numbered, and each clause ends with a semicolon, whilst the last operative clause ends with a period.
Moving on to resolution writing. Approved draft resolutions are modified through amendment. An amendment is a written statement that adds, deletes, or changes an operative clause in a draft resolution. The amendment process is used to strengthen consensus on a resolution by allowing delegates to change the operative clauses, as the pre-ambulatory clauses cannot be modified. There are two types of amendment, a friendly amendment and an unfriendly amendment. A friendly amendment is a change to the draft resolution that all sponsors agree with. After the amendment is signed by all of the draft resolution sponsors and approved by the committee chair, it will automatically be incorporated into the resolution. An unfriendly amendment is a change that some or all of the draft resolution sponsors do not support and must be voted upon by the committee. This also refers to the delegates who did not write this resolution at all, but see potential in it as long as several changes are made to it. Depending on the majority, the amendment will be approved or denied. Prior to voting on the draft resolution, the committee votes on all unfriendly amendments. Writing an amendment is very simple. All you have to do is make an operative clause that adds, deletes, or changes an operative clause in the draft resolution. However, Security Council has an extra rule. A resolution cannot be passed only if it violates the foreign policy and objectives of one of the permanent members of the Security Council, not because the delegates just does not agree with it. The ability of a permanent member to stop a draft resolution from being adopted is called the veto power. For example, the delegate would raise their placard and say, the delegate of the United States would like to exercise their veto. Veto can only be used to force the overall resolution to be rejected, but you cannot veto amendments. The 5 countries with veto power within the United Nations include China, Russia, France, the United Kingdom, and the United States.